Welcome to Azure Tips and Tricks. In this episode, we are going to run a Java Spring Boot microservice in Azure Spring Apps. To follow along, you'll need Visual Studio Code and a Java development kit on your machine. You can find a download link for this in the video description. Let's get started. First, we create an Azure Spring Apps instance in Azure. Here it is. Let's create it. OK, first I'll pick a resource group. OK, and now I'll give it a name, like this. I'll leave the rest as it is and then create the instance. I'll skip to when it is done. And here is the Azure Spring Apps. In here I can create apps, which in this case will be a microservice. Alright, I'll give the app a name, like this, and the rest seems OK. Create it. OK, what's next? Let's create a MySQL server. The microservice will use this as a data store. This one, Azure Database for MySQL. And I will use the single server option for this one. Alright, select a resource group and next enter a name, like this, and also credentials to log into the server. So a username and a password as well. And also confirm the password. That's it. And now create it. Alright, I'll skip to when it is done. Here is the MySQL server. Before we use it, I need to configure its firewall. So I'll add this firewall rule. This will let all network traffic through. In a real-world scenario, you should only allow traffic from specific IP addresses. And I'll also allow other Azure services to talk with this service. OK, save these rules. And now this is only the server. It has no database yet. So I'll create one with the Azure Cloud Shell. I love this shell as it has the Azure CLI ready to be used. This command should do it. There it goes. And alright, that's it. The server now has a database called to-dos for to-do items. Let's go back to Spring Cloud, because now we can connect the microservice app to the MySQL database. We can do that here in Service Bindings. Add a new binding and enter a name for the binding. And for the binding type, I'll pick Azure Database for MySQL. It should load automatically, and this is the server that we created. And this is the database that we need. OK. I'll enter my username and also my password for the MySQL server and create the binding. That's it. Alright, the infrastructure is ready. Now for the application. Here in Visual Studio Code, I'll use this command. This is curl calling a URL from start.spring.io, which is a website that you can use to create starter Spring Boot applications. Here we go. OK. Let's open the application. Here it is. And OK, this is the basis for the microservice. And we need to add to it. First, I'll add a new file here, todo.java. This will be the to-do entity for the microservice. There we go. OK, another new file, to-do repository.java. This is the repository for the microservice. OK, and finally another file, to-do controller.java. This is the controller that will do the actual work. If you look here, you'll see that on initiation, the controller inserts 3 to-do items into the database. OK. And now in this properties file, I need to paste this. This will automatically create the database when the application is deployed. And that's it. The app is ready. Here is a new terminal window that I will use to build the app and deploy it to Spring Apps. This command uses Maven to build the application. OK, let me clean this up. And this command will push the microservice to Azure Spring Cloud. There it goes. I'll skip to when it is done. These are the application details again. It seems to be running fine. And here is the test endpoint URL. Let's try it. And it worked. This is JSON data containing the to-do items that the microservice got from the MySQL database. Cool. Azure Spring Apps enables you to run Java Spring Boot microservices in the cloud and easily connect them to services like Azure Database for MySQL. Go and check it out.